Yeah, you know, this episode you basically saw, Justin fight Tony. Great fight. They basically went toe-to-toe. I mean, they're both good wrestlers. Justin was winning that fight. I mean, he was winning it, and then all of a sudden he fell right into Tony. Tony threw that up kick, and then all of a sudden, basically, the knockout came out of nowhere. But both of those guys are real solid. I felt for Justin because he should have gotten that wild card slot, but he got knocked out, so he's got to sit out 90 days. There's nothing he can do about it. And then you got the fight with Chuck O'Neal and Zach Davis. That one was pretty interesting because Chuck was very amped about winning that fight. He was very confident, going in confident. We thought that he would do well against Zach. Zach came in with a great game plan, though. He just basically pinned him up against the fence, went for the takedowns, kept the pressure on him. And then the one thing that Eric Paulson kept warning Chuck about is, like, this kid's got a triangle. And Chuck, I don't know if he heard it or he didn't hear it, but that's what he fell right into was that triangle. And, Zach got the win because of it. You see kind of like the little dynamic with Len and his attitude and how when he didn't get picked for the wild card and then how he's really pissed off about it. So I mean, it's one of those things where basically the thing with Len is he's just gonna be Len. So when Len does that, it's just his thing. And I mean, he just basically, I think he complained about not being on the wild card all the way until the thing ended. And that was basically for like 3 weeks. And after a while, we're like, dude, Len, drop it. I mean, it's not worth complaining about anymore. He fought a great fight against Ryan. Problem is his knee. His knee's all messed up. They didn't know if he's going to be healthy. So that's why Chuck was picked and Javier was picked to fight on the wild card. Javier was very adamant about wanting that fight. He posted up on the board. He basically wanted to fight on the wild card. And then he wanted to fight me in the quarters if he won in the wild card. He wanted to fight me in the quarters for the rematch. But he was very adamant that Javier wanted it, and Chuck felt that he didn't show his best effort out there, and he wanted a rematch. So that's why they gave it to him. Guys can say what they want, but Dana was right. I mean, every guy that walked that room, you didn't really hear that they needed that fight. They had to have that fight, and maybe if he would have had that, they would have sold it. But Javier, from what I hear, was telling after he lost to me, he was talking to Junior the whole time saying, I want to get back in there, I want to get back in there, I want to get back in there. And Chuck O'Neal, he's one tough dude, and he really felt that he didn't perform his best, and he was very adamant that he wanted to redeem himself. So I think that this episode, out of all of them thus far, had the best fights. So far, the fight between Len and Ryan was great, but I think Justin and Tony took it to another level. I mean, those guys went head-to-head one round, and then it ended with a knockout. It wasn't left in the hands of the judges, and it ended in spectacular fashion. I mean, both those fights ended with finishes. They were both great fights. And then, so we'll you guys check up next week, and we'll post another one of these up. And I'd like to thank Dave and crew with TVideoTours and the Arena, MMA.com, and my coach and managers, Pat Spate, Jeff Clark, and then my striking coach, Charles Martinez, and strength and conditioning coach, Tom Hill, and all my team training partners that have got me this far. See you guys next episode.